ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Eventus podcast. I'm Tom Hughes.
Pharaoh.
This is the first episode. It is, what is it, Monday or Tuesday?
I don't even know. It's Monday.
It's Monday, December 31st, 2018. New Year's Eve. Today is the day when the clock strikes midnight. It's a brand new year. And what we like to do is not only look forward to the new year and to see what it brings us, but also to reflect on the year that just happened. So today, for our inaugural episode of the Eventus podcast, we're going to talk about our favorite forms of entertainment, our favorite movies, our favorite pieces of music, and to finish off, just the things we did this year as a film collective. Yeah. How do you think? First of all, let's just do an overview of the year. How do you think it went so far?
I think this year, in terms of movies, it was way better than last year. I think, like last year, they had Shape of Water. I mean, that was okay. I didn't see that, but it seems like an okay movie. It wasn't like anything. I didn't hear anything.
It was okay. I wasn't like it won Best Picture.
It won Best Picture.
My opinion, not the Get Out was like the film of last year. Yeah, that was like the film.
Yeah, there weren't many films last year that I was like, oh my god, like it's insane. But this year there were definitely a lot of films like we're gonna talk about today. A lot of films that like were actual like artistic films by like directors that are actually cool and that I respect a lot. Yeah. So and also there are a lot of films we didn't see yet, but that we're gonna see that are pretty cool. But mostly, I think this year was really good. And
I think so too, especially for the art house films. Yeah. Like we're gonna get into all that, but I think. Like this was also like an awesome year for music. Yeah, I think so.
It was better than last. It was a little bit better than last year. I mean, last year did have Damn, but this year, there was the whole cool motion picture soundtrack. Black Panther, which was different.
We'll definitely get into that.
It got like album of the year nominations and stuff. Yeah. It was really good year for rap. I think KOD
for sure. That's
What other interesting? Even Jaden Smith, like it was like everyone was just coming up and putting out their own thing, and it was cool. This year was really good for like art in general.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. So let's get right into it. We have a couple of lists right here. We're gonna start off with some of our favorite like songs of the year. We might get into some albums, but we're just gonna start off with just like the stuff we listen to the most. And I on my list right here, I have it titled "Songs That Kicked My Ass This Year." Yeah. Basically, the shit that just like. Yeah. It hit me hard, and it was just like dope stuff. So I just have like 12 songs, in no particular order, except for like maybe the top 5 are dope. And we could talk about each one if you want. I'm not like music for me personally is like my Achilles heel, like in terms of like how I see art. I'm more of a film guy. I'm more of like that kind of stuff. Well. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's more my speed. So all the songs I have here may not be like the best like artistically, but it's just the stuff I listened to that was good. Same. I'm gonna start off just with a Paul McCartney song because he came out with an album this year, and it was pretty good. Like it wasn't too bad.
I didn't even know he came out with
that. I know he did. Exactly. Not a lot of people. It did go. Might have gone gold. I'm gonna look it up right now. Not bad. I'm pretty sure. The album's called Egypt Station, and there's no internet down here. And I'm pretty sure it got some good stuff. But the song is called Back in Brazil, and it's a cool song. And
did it get gold?
I don't know. It got some acclaim. It got a lot of sales. It was like a good. It sold a lot, which was good. It was like one of the better selling records Paul has had in the last couple of years. And Back in Brazil is a cool song because it's got like techno flavor to it. It's cool. It's just way different. It's not something you'd expect him to do. That's why I appreciate it. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Not gonna lie. What do you have? What do you got
right now? Because it's not like I didn't like you said, a lot of the songs on this list aren't like extremely artistic songs, just songs that I like came across that I liked, or songs by some of my favorite artists. But like obviously, I think that Kanye's Ghost Town, that's like probably number 5, number 4. Yeah, like favorite songs of the year simply because it's not just like it's not too weird and it's not too like mainstream and poppy. It's like it's like a good balance of like Kanye like type of sound plus like, you know, it has Party Next Door and it has who's that girl he has now on his label that like everyone keeps talking about.
I forget her name.
She's from Jersey, I think, and she did a pretty good job on the song. He had Cuddy on the song. Like it was an all around just like really good song. I think he performed it at SNL, but we didn't get to see that for obvious reasons. Yeah, it was. I really like that song. That's definitely on my list.
Definitely. Speaking of Kanye, Kids See Ghost, Cuddy Montage is one of my favorite songs of the year.
Cuddy, I didn't listen to.
You didn't listen to it?
I listened to a little bit of that album.
I also have Reborn on my list.
Yeah, Reborn is
awesome. Yeah,
I listened to it too late though. I listened to it like this month. I listened to the album when it came out, so I can't
listen to it. It's one of my. It's probably one of my favorite albums of the year, no doubt. Also on here I have King's Dead.
I do too.
That's a dope song.
I think I have King's Dead. I have it at 3. Actually, I meant to put it at 3, but I have it at 4 here. King's Dead is definitely one of the best songs of the year. It's a cool ass song.
Yeah, no doubt. Good. I'm glad we shared that on the list. Yeah. I also have Bubblin' by Anderson .Paak. He released an album, Oxnard. Bubblin' is not on it, but it's a single. But he released it earlier this year, and it's a banger. That's for sure. What else do you have?
Yeah, I have Eminem, Lucky You, featuring Joe Lucas.
Yeah.
I mean, there could have been many songs by Eminem I could have put on this list, but I put Lucky You because it's not just like an Eminem just rapping, like going off like it was on like The Ringer.
Yeah.
But it has Jordan Lucas as a young artist that's looks up to Eminem. That's also pretty. He's pretty talented. He's a good lyricist, and he kind of bounces off with Jordan Lucas, and he has a cool beat to go with it.
Sure.
So it's like an updated Eminem song with a good beat, good artist as a feature, which is rare for Eminem, I feel like, recently. And it just has everything that we want listening to Eminem. And he's like talking about certain things that like how he feels about rap, how he feels about what's going on. So that definitely goes on my list. And I think it got nominated for a Grammy, which would be Jordan Lucas's first Grammy nomination, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had the chance to listen to much Eminem this year.
Kamikaze. It's a good album.
I missed it, unfortunately. I'll get on that though. Another thing I got on here. Questionable Human Being, XXX Tentacion, but Sad is a great song.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like a song.
No, that's not a song. That's not. No, like he's just a questionable human being. Sad and Moonlight are two fantastic songs.
Moonlight is on my list.
Yeah,
I could have put a bunch of songs from his Question Mark album.
Yeah,
like Moonlight is on my list officially, but I could have put Sad. I could have put Numb.
Yeah,
like we were just listening to. I could have put Infinity featuring Joey Badass. Even Changes. Like I think that album was really good. So yeah, I agree with that. Another person I have to put Sicko Mode.
I have it at like number 2 on my list.
I gotta put Sicko Mode because it's just it is kind of like a super mainstream song now because it has Drake and Travis on it. I think it's produced really cool, really well. It's not like boring. You know what I mean?
It's the one like mainstream song this year that came out that I'm like like deserves like the fame. It deserves like all of that. You know,
it has good production. It has good.
The lyrics are dope. Just like the
visuals are good.
It's the music video is awesome. It's a trippy song. It's like it's got everything. Like Travis Scott like went all out on that song. It's dope. I threw some Gambino on here. This Is America, just because like the music video is now like a cultural staple.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Senior year of high school, my math class showed the video that. Like that's how you know like that it's a big like that's like a milestone almost.
I took the RCGE class, remember, like the race gender class, and they played that and of course it was pretty weird to like hear that song in class or whatever, but it was interesting to like see people look at that. Also, they played Jordan Lucas's "I'm Not Racist."
Oh, really?
Remember that? Like that song was. I should have put that on the list as well. But like that song was really like that was everywhere. I think he even got nominated for that song as well.
I think so, yeah.
And you know, it has obviously a really cool message that you get to look at it from different perspectives and everything, different extremes or whatever.
Yeah.
So I really like that song. That song definitely goes on my list as well.
For sure. What else we got? I have ASAP Forever. ASAP Rocky, I think, had a pretty good year this year. People weren't so hot on Testing. I like Testing. His album, I thought it was really good.
I didn't hear a lot about it. I didn't listen to it. I didn't listen to that. I don't know why, but I heard it was okay from you. But when I look at like reviews online, people are like,
people aren't so hot on it. It's crazy.
People don't like it that much.
I understand it. It's like it's a little like experimental. It's kind of cool. Purity by ASAP and Frank Ocean, I think, is really good. That's worth a mention. Changes by ASAP is worth a mention. Praise the Lord is like a hit.
Yeah.
And Sundress, which is not on Testing. It's a single. He dropped that maybe even earlier this month.
Tame Impala was part of that song?
Tame Impala, it heavily samples one of Tame Impala's songs. I thought that was good, like way different from everything else ASAP does. So I thought that was definitely worth a mention. Another thing on my list is Cop Shot the Kid. Oh yeah. That's a dope song.
Yeah, that's a really good song.
Yeah.
Kanye produced, right?
Yep, and he's also on it.
Yeah, I think Kanye produced every song on that album. I only heard that song. I heard a couple more songs like on YouTube from that album. But I think it's cool how like Nas kind of just decided he's gonna come back 2018. Yeah. So I gotta give Nas credit for that. And plus the song is really good. The sample they use is really cool. Yeah, and everything. So yeah, I like that song.
It's a good album too. What else do you have?
I have obviously I have The Ringer, Eminem, because the reason I put that song, it's not a conventional song. It doesn't have like a chorus or anything. It's just like I think it's like 4 or 5 minutes of Eminem just rapping. Yeah. But it's kind of like him just letting everybody know like what's going on, like why he felt like his last album was bad. Because Revival was really bad. I'm an Eminem fan, but I can admit that it wasn't a good album. But this, he kind of like let everyone know how he felt, and plus it was a good song. It was a great way to start off the album, and it was overall like. It was just good. It was produced well, and I felt like he actually paid attention to like what people wanted to hear. You know,
for sure.
So yeah,
absolutely. One song I want to mention is "Self Care" by Mac Miller. Yeah. Mac Miller is like such a talent. I'm like actually like we lost him. Like that's a big loss. Like he's a talented dude. And unfortunately, I haven't I'm not. Like, I wish I had, listened to more of his music, because, he's got some really good stuff. And the album he came out with this year is, really solid. I think it got a couple nominations for Grammys. Yeah.
I put Small World on my list because I think it was partially produced by John Mayer. And I think John Mayer actually, he performed it live at his Celebration of Life event. And so I definitely put Mac Miller. Mac Miller's a great artist.
For sure, yeah. That was a big loss. I got Humility by Gorillaz. I don't know if you listen to Gorillaz.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. No, that song is chill, just good vibes. It's got some good stuff. Yeah, that's a good one. We'll just move on.
Nothing to say
about that. And number one on my list. What's number one on yours?
It's hard for me to put number one, but yeah, I can't put it. It's hard for me to put number one, but if I had to. Go tell me about your number one.
Number one on my list, Mo Bamba by Sheck West. No, I'm playing. My number one is a Brockhampton song called Jouvert. It's the hardest song this year. That's all I gotta say. It just goes hard. The lyrics are insane. They are intense. Joba just screams his lyrics, just screams his verse. It's hard, and it's not scream 6ix9ine screams. Yeah, it's for a purpose. You can tell he's angry and he's frustrated. The instrumental is sick. It's just big. They produced the song at Abbey Road Studios, Beatles Abbey Road. That's awesome. They did some good shit with that album as a whole. Iridescence. Yeah. Quick shout out. That's good stuff.
Oh yeah, another song I forgot to mention that I really like. I don't know if I'd say this is my favorite. Like I said, it's really hard for me to pick a number one favorite, but it's one of my favorites. Feels Like Summer. I don't know why I forgot. I literally just remembered. That song is so cool. It's just such a chill song. And the visuals are really cool. How he has all the rappers and he's portraying
Childish Gambino.
This stage of rap within sort of a suburban area with all this stuff going on. I thought that was pretty cool. And he referenced in the video Kanye and he referenced I think he even referenced X in the video.
Yeah.
In his own little subliminal way. So that definitely goes one of the best songs of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
That's pretty much all I got. I'll mention.
That's all I got too.
I'll mention Black Balloons by Denzel Curry. That's a cool song. That's
song
cool.
is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, Kanye had a pretty decent year this year. I think like
musically, he had a decent.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, that's what I meant. Everything else, he's a questionable human being as well.
I love Kanye though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you gotta love him. I don't know. That's whatever. But yeah, all right. So yeah, that about wraps it up. So that's the music. We're done with that. Great year for music, I think. Yeah. All in all, just good stuff. Also, speaking of Kanye, he hasn't dropped his album that he promised he would drop.
Yeah,
so
Yandi.
that's also
pretty
worth
disappointed
mentioning.
in that.
All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna do favorite films 2018.
All right, let me get to that. Yeah.
Overall, we talked about this. The films we saw this year, solid, like really solid. Like in my list, like I can tell they're gonna some classics. Yeah, classics, I think.
Definitely.
And I think you on your list, they're gonna like you were saying about some stuff.
Yeah. So the way I kind of wanted to do it was like I feel like we should like because I do have like a top 10 list, but like okay, so like I'll mention like the kind of like the 5, like the 10 through 5s are like the honorable mentions, and then I guess we can go into depth with the top 5s.
Top 5s, that's fine with me.
And because I think we saw a lot of the movies in our top 5s anyway.
I feel like we share a lot of similar. I feel like we. Yeah. I don't know though. We may or may not have a lot of similarities.
Yeah. And plus, we've seen some.
We've seen some together. Exactly. It'll be a cool discussion. Yeah. I know, for one film in particular, no spoilers. We'll have a deep discussion. I just finished watching it today and was blown away. Pharaoh watched it last night, and we're both like,
it was good.
Ready to talk on it. I have a lot of honorable mentions.
Yeah, go through your honorable.
These are just all the films that I saw this year, pretty much.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot as well. I haven't seen a lot of things that have been like very much acclaimed.
Same.
I haven't seen First Reformed. I'm kicking myself for not seeing it. I want to see Mandy. I'm kicking that Nick Cage movie. The house that Jack built. The Lars von Trier film.
Yeah.
Eighth Grade. I really want to see. A Quiet Place. Even though everybody saw it, I haven't. Sorry to Bother You. I want to see.
Same.
You saw it. You Were Never Really Here. I want to see that.
That movie's pretty good.
And there's a film called Leave No Trace, which I heard was fantastic. I still want to see it, but those are really the films I want to see, but haven't gotten around to, unfortunately.
Yeah, off the top of my head, some of the movies I need to see, like you said, Mandy. I have to see Mandy. I have to see Burning.
Word.
Burning. Yeah. I have to see. What other one? Quiet Place, definitely. I'm not too interested in seeing Eighth Grade. I don't know why. It just doesn't.
That's fine.
Doesn't really look like a movie I'd care about. But I might eventually see it. But I really want to see Sorry to Bother You and Black Klansman.
For sure.
Those are probably the two biggest films that like I haven't seen yet that I really need to see.
All right. Yeah, when we get around to seeing those movies, we'll do an updated list.
Yeah.
Right now, this is just no big deal. This is just I'm just gonna run down all of the films that I saw this year, and I'm not gonna like rank them. But this is basically from my least favorite to my most favorite.
Yeah.
So I'm like ranking the honorable mentions basically. This is basically like a top 18 or something. Yeah. All right, I saw Hellfest. I'm not gonna speak on that. I saw The Nun. Not as bad as people say. I think, personally speaking, not the best either. I saw Ready Player One. We both saw Ready Player One. I don't know if that's in your 5 or anything.
It's in my it's definitely in my list, but it's not in my 5.
Okay. We could talk about that for a little bit. That was a fun movie.
Yeah, Ready Player. It was. I mean, it was obviously like a conventional, like kind of like
it's a classic blockbuster.
Story wise, very generic. Yeah, I think we could all agree. It was like I knew it was pretty cheesy. Some of the things that happened in the film, but in terms of like the special effects, in terms of the cinematography, it was actually really.
It was
cool.
just a great spectacle.
Yeah, it was what you expect from Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, just like entertaining. Yeah. Like they had like Spielberg, just like classic Spielberg, like just adventure film that like you can't really be upset about. Like it's great to watch. Also saw Halloween, the remake.
I didn't see that. I gotta see that.
Written by Danny McBride, co-written by Danny McBride, I think. Pretty solid. Could have been better, but pretty entertaining.
But you put it on your list though.
That's not my 5. That's
not your 5. This is like it's.
This is just what I saw this year.
This is what you saw. It's not. It's not. You're not. It's not ranked. Really.
No, this is not ranked. Okay. I saw Solo: A Star Wars Story. Everyone hates this movie. Everyone
I
hates
didn't
it.
see it.
Everyone hates it. I like it a lot. Not a lot, but like
Yeah.
I like it. Like it's fun. I don't see like any issue with
Real
it.
quick, did Jedi come out like Last Jedi?
Yeah, they came out.
They came out this year?
No.
Okay, I thought it was
2017.
2000. Okay, 2000. Okay, never
I
mind.
know.
Okay, cool.
It all seems those were released pretty close together.
Yeah.
I saw the movie Game Night, which is pretty much the only comedy I saw this year. And I have it written down here. This is the only comedy that I've seen this year, but it's got to be the only one. I'm glad it is. It's funny. It's really funny. I think you should see it.
Deadpool, technically a comedy.
Deadpool 2 is definitely a comedy.
Technically. Kind of.
Yeah. But Game Night's like a serious comedy.
Yeah.
Aquaman was pretty good. We just saw that.
It had its problems, but it was
An
for what it was.
An
It was
Aquaman
cool.
movie
Yeah.
shouldn't have been that good, and an Aquaman movie produced by DC shouldn't have been that good. You know what I mean?
I agree.
It was just like it was better than I expected it to be, and it was just like
For what it was.
For what it was, yeah.
pretty cool.
for sure.
I'll admit that.
Deadpool 2, we both saw that, right?
Yeah.
Better than the first? Can we? Oh,
It's not better than the first, in my opinion, was like way more. It was a little bit more. It was funnier. Like I feel like this time they were more like playing on the fact of how like because it was obviously more of a budget this year. Like the last movie, I think they had like a smaller like budget. That's why there weren't many like crazy effects. But this time they had, the CGI was better in this movie. But in terms of like which one I'd rather watch again, I don't like. Why would I want to watch the second one? Like there's nothing really in it that like is that crazy to me. The first one wasn't that crazy to me either, but it's funnier to me, and I don't know. I didn't know people liked the second one more than the first one.
I like the second one better.
Why?
I think it's funnier. I think the action's better. I think I like the story. I think the story is cool. It's just like it just works for me. I don't know, and I like the first one. I really do.
They're close. I mean, it's not like
It's not like it's a. I just like if I had the two DVDs, I would pop Deadpool 2 in before the first one. That's really it. Okay. And last on my honorable mentions, like the ones I saw, Black Panther. Like I get it, it's important.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
Same.
But it's cool. Like I think it is an important film.
Yeah. I like the soundtrack.
Soundtrack is awesome.
I like the soundtrack more than the movie a little bit. Just a little.
But the movie's really good. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like I have no complaints about it. It's just like, whatever.
My honorable mentions are like it's pretty much almost the same. I have Avengers in my honorable mentions. Obviously, Infinity War is pretty good. Aquaman, Deadpool. I couldn't put I was thinking about putting Mission Impossible, but Mission Impossible, it was missing a lot of things. Obviously, like it was shot pretty cool, like cinematography wise, it was a pretty good movie, but like it didn't have too much of an interesting story. Whenever they did character work in Mission Impossible, I kind of lost interest in it. But whenever they were like jumping out of planes and stuff, it was fun or whatever. Right? Ready Player One, we talked about that. Black Panther, we talked about that. And one film that could very easily be in my top 5, but it was very hard to figure out which one I was gonna switch it with. Is Unsane, and you saw Unsane. I don't know if that's in your top 5.
It's in my top 10.
Top 10, but yeah, it's Unsane was really cool. Like it was actually a really cool film. They made it on like an iPhone, I think, and I think they were actually pretty cool performances. Like they had Jay Pharoah in it, and he did way better than I thought he would have done in it.
I agree.
Who's the main character? What's her name?
Claire Foy.
Claire Foy. She was really cool in the film. I really liked her performance. So that's basically mine. It's basically the same as yours. That's basically my honorable mentions.
Right.
You can go into your top.
I have like a top 10.
You have a top 10.
I'm gonna give you a top 10.
Okay.
When I'm done, when I do 10 through 6, I'll let you do your 5, and then I'll finish with my 5.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Number 10, I have Unsane. That's in my top 10.
I agree with it.
Something's wrong with this. It's a good film. Like, you hit it all.
Yeah.
Number 9, I have Mid-90s. It's good.
Yeah.
Like, great debut from Jonah Hill. The performances were awesome. It was well written, I think. It was just like a fun movie. I don't know. Number 8, I have Avengers: Infinity War. That was like the best theater experience of the year, I think. Just like I don't know. I haven't been to a movie in a while where it was just like quiet for a bit. You know what I mean? Like, especially for a big superhero film. Like, yeah, it's dope, and I think it's the best Marvel movie. Don't ask.
Oh, it is definitely. The best
I think
Marvel
it is. Number 7, I have Incredibles 2. That's a dope film. It's just fun. I don't think it's better than the first. But it's really solid. Like, it's a fun animated movie. And the animation is really good. It's just well written and tons of fun. And number 6, I have Steve McQueen's Widows. That's a dope movie. Daniel Kaluuya is in it, and you just have to see it to understand how amazing he is.
It looks kind of corny, but I gotta see that movie.
It's good. It's really good. It's really well written, and there's some shots in it that are just really smart and really genius.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead with your 5.
All right, so these are my top 5 of the year. I'm gonna start off with number 5, and this is like obviously like it's both a mixture of like the best films in terms of like just as a critic, but also like which ones I enjoyed the most. So at number 5, I have to put mid-90s. Although, like, after viewing it again, I kind of think it was a little bit empty in terms of story, in terms of like I feel like Jonah Hill could have spent more time with some of the characters in the film or whatever. But I think that it was stylish. It was a really good debut film, and it was cool. Like I'd watch it again, like over and over again. Although it's missing a lot of the things that a really good movie would have. But I put it at number 5. Number 4, I put Blind Spotting. Blind Spotting, nice. I feel like
I want to see that really bad.
You got to see Blind Spotting, and I feel like they incorporate, because I think these are the guys from Hamilton, right? I think the guys who wrote it and like were starring in it, they were in Hamilton, and they kind of implement music in the film a little bit, and the way they implement it, it could have easily been really corny and really like bad, but it actually works really well in the film. So I have to put that at number 4, and also, it's like it's conscious, and I feel like I think I said this to you guys the other day. If a history professor, like a film professor or whatever, in the future wanted to show people how things were, like in terms of like race relations, in terms of like the social climate in America in 2018, 2017, they would probably show them this film, Blind Spotting, because it's perfect, and it shows like not just from like racial, but like gentrification and like how you present yourself, how people expect you to be, and everything from that. At number 3,
that's what I want to check out too.
Yeah,
definitely want to check that out.
At number 3, I have You Were Never Really Here. This could have easily been number 4 too. It's kind of like neck to neck with like Blind Spotting, but I thought I saw it a long time ago, so I don't remember too much from it. But I do remember that Joaquin Phoenix's performance in it was really good. I thought it was written really well. Direction was pretty cool, but I thought in terms of like cinematography, it was really cool, and there's so many different interpretations you can have, because you kind of, when you watch the trailer for this film, it kind of looks like a conventional like whatever type of like, you know what I mean, like a guy to go and like kill somebody or whatever. But it actually has like a cool story to it. It actually has like interesting ways you can look at it, and certain things that like kind of surreal in some ways. So I think that definitely deserves to be in the top 3. Number 1 and 2 could easily be exchanged as well. Like it's not definite, because both these films are like really good. But number 2 right now for me would be Roma, and you saw Roma yesterday.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it when you get to it in your list. But I'm just gonna say Roma was like it was so good. It was written, I thought, so well. The direction was like probably the best direction of the year.
I agree.
And it was there were so many things done in that film that I feel like could have been really that I can tell were really hard to pull off. Not just in terms of cinematography, but in terms of like how they portrayed the character and how they wrote the character. It's like it could easily been a really bad, boring film, but they did it really well. And that number 1, First Reformed, written directed by Paul Schrader. He also wrote Taxi Driver, and it kind of has that Taxi Driver feel to it. And it's about a preacher who is dealing with his own internal issues, and he's kind of trying to figure things out in terms of spirituality or whatever. And I think Ethan Hawke said it best. It's like you don't really see movies that like really show like preachers, and like they're like, because these guys like work every day, and they do they have all these different tasks, and people look to them for guidance every day, although they might not be all together themselves.
Right.
And I think the film does a really good job of portraying that, you know. So I think that definitely deserves my number one spot. And also, it's like, if you guys seen the film, the last like 30 minutes of the film is like the most intense thing, like intense scenes of like the year. It's really good. So you can go with
I'm
yours.
definitely checking. I'm gonna check out. What's that? First Reformed. I'm gonna check that out soon. Okay, so this is my top 5.
Yeah.
I like to represent like a genre, at least like in my top 5. So like as for an action movie, I think Mission Impossible Fallout was dope.
Mm-hmm.
The action was fantastic. The skydiving scene was like amazing. Like that's up there with one of the best scenes of the year. I think just like intense and just shot like
impossible.
Yeah, exactly. So that's number 5, Mission Impossible Fallout. Number 4, I have Hereditary. I saw it and it was like as soon as it ended, I was just like, this is going to be a classic in a few years. Incredibly disturbing. You don't expect a thing. Like, it's not, you can't predict what happens next, or how it ends at all. When you see it, like, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, it just goes in a different direction than what you're expecting. And it's just, for that alone, it's just incredible. And number 3, I have Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs. I'm like the only one who like puts this in like their top 3, let alone their top 10. But like, it's just enjoyable. The visuals are literally mind blowing. I saw them and I was just like, this might be the best looking film of the year, and I still think it is. And I said like every shot can be like framed up, hung up on a wall, put in a museum. Like it's works of art. Like, and on top of that, like clever writing. The dialogue is funny. It's witty. And the voice acting, Bryan Cranston is the main dog. And he's great, like really good, stern. You kind of get his character. And there's like an emotional core to it too that like really works. Like everybody loves dogs. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's, and that's like the heart of it. Like it's awesome. So number 3 is Isle of Dogs, Wes Anderson. Number 2, I have Black Klansman, Spike Lee.
I gotta see it.
Yeah. You got to. It's insane. Spike Lee is off the charts with his directing here. The performances are off the charts. Adam Driver deserves an award, I think. What's his name?
Denzel's son.
Denzel's kid, John David Washington, both deserve Oscar nominations. It's nuts.
I was kind of curious how it was like, 'cause I don't know much about what's his name, John David Washington.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him, so I was curious. Like, is the performance actually?
It's genuinely good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like it's just a and it's a true story, which is nuts. Like when you see what unfolds in the film, you're not gonna believe it. Like it's great. It's a great film. Yeah. That could have been my number 1. I have Roma at number 1 though, because Black Klansman had the story of the year. Roma had the story and the emotional connection that I think was that was the icing on the cake. Alfonso Cuarón directed it.
Best direction of the year, I think.
I think so too. Long takes, wide shots. I think I counted. They cut to a close up. I think only once in the entire film.
Yeah.
No score.
There isn't
No score. And the camera work, in terms of the camera movement, it's literally just pans. Like he just pans the entire time, and like that might be weird to somebody, but it works. Like it makes sense, and like it's crazy. The acting is insane. Tell the story of how that woman got acted.
Oh yeah,
got casted.
I just recently saw the it was like, I think it was the Hollywood Reporter. You know, when they do the roundtable, they were like put out a snippet of the roundtable with Cuarón. He was saying that, I think he said that he was looking for an actress for about a year in Mexico, and they were kind of just I think they were looking for like conventional actresses as well, but they were also looking for, I think, just regular people. And they came across this woman, I forgot her name, but she was a teacher, I think she was a teacher, and she was taking some like test, or like she was waiting for something to be done. And so she had a lot of time, so she was like, okay, I'll do it. Like, she didn't know who he was. She didn't know like how big of a movie. I'm pretty sure she didn't know this was gonna go to Netflix or like whatever. But it's really cool how she was just a regular person, and she kind of just did such a good job.
Yeah, dude, she was so believable. Like,
she's my favorite character. I forgot to mention that she's my favorite character of the year.
Like, like that, like amazing.
Yeah.
The film is about loss.
Yeah.
It's about false hope. It's about so many different things. You can like study this film for years. People are going to be studying this film.
Yeah.
I think the student riot scene, probably one of the best scenes of the year. I think that and her birth scene was just like
mad intense.
Oh my god, I'm not even gonna say it because like, wow, like that was like sad. The craft is indisputable in this film.
Yeah.
Like you can't argue like that. It's not well made. Like at least.
I have my own theory. I think I said this. I wrote this too. I have my own theory about like the cinematography because like you said, it's a bunch of wide shots. Like they're not like you can tell that like
long takes.
that Cuarón, he's not like
Cuarón doesn't usually cut the close-ups anyway. He does a lot of wide angles. He does a lot of long takes.
Yeah,
but
he like I felt like he was just kind of letting you figure it. Like he was kind of just letting you figure out like how do you feel about Cleo? Like do you like do you think that she's immoral? Do you think she's moral? Because there's certain things that she says near the end of the film that kind of like it gives you a different perspective, but he doesn't like force you to feel a certain type of way. It's kind of just like that happened. Like how do you feel about it? Even with like the lady that she worked with in the house, I forgot her name. But even her actions are you kind of like you don't know how to feel. Like is she like because she's a good person. Like you can tell like she's a good person, but she has her flaws are also pretty noticeable. Like you don't know like she it's just the way they let the audience kind of just like figure it out. Is like I feel like that's so hard.
He was also the director of photography, I believe.
Yeah, he was.
So this is like his film, like through and through.
Yeah, the ocean. Remember the ocean scene?
I don't know.
That was like how do you like? That's insane. Like they must have did like many takes, or maybe I think they did like one take actually. I think I read somewhere they did.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but there's some really scenes that are so the student riot scene is so elaborate. I don't know how you can direct that scene without anything going wrong.
Yeah, it's really cool, and they balance everything in terms of because there's a lot going on with her, and there's also a lot going on in like Mexico around her that like I feel like the film balances really well. Like they don't show you too much of like the crazy whatever's riots are going on and like the political protest and like the military action and
it's happening in the background.
Yeah, they mention it every now and then, like when the kid was like, "Oh, the kid got shot in the head" or whatever. But then they're kind of just like, "Oh, okay, like what are you eating for dinner?" Like it's just like they balance it really well, and I feel like that's like really hard for like a writer and director to kind of like figure that out, like the perfect balance between those two. So I think that film was like, if it won Best Picture, I wouldn't be mad.
I wouldn't be mad at all. I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah,
I'm glad it's on. I'm glad it's on Netflix because like it's gonna be on there forever because it's a Netflix original. Netflix is doing some good stuff for sure. So yeah, just to recap, give your top 5 one more time.
My top 5. So I definitely, like I said, I put mid-90s at I put mid-90s at number 5. I'd put hold on, let me get my list. I think I forgot my list. Yeah, I think I put Blind Spotting at number 4. I put Blind Spotting at number 4. I put You Were Never Really There at number 3. Which I said it could easily be changed with number 4. I feel like Blind Spotting could be in number 3, and I also feel like Roma. I put Roma number 2, First Reform number 1, but that could easily be switched as well.
Right.
I just have to sit on it a little bit because I just saw Roma, so obviously like I'm like mad hyped about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
This is true. All right, and just to recap for myself. Number 5, Mission Impossible Fallout. Number 4, Hereditary. Number 3, Isle of Dogs. Those can be switched as well with you. And number 2 is Black Klansman, and number 1 is Roma. So those are both of our top 5 favorite films of the year.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. In addition to being film connoisseurs, we're filmmakers as well, right? We like to make art. We're self-proclaimed artists. Yeah. We'll see. So we did a lot of good stuff this year. I think we did a lot this year. Period. Let's talk about like the stuff we did.
Yeah, let's just go down the list.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest things that like for all of us that happened this year was Basement.
Yeah.
With Koosh. I feel like because
we'll have him on the podcast to talk
about
about it. I think he should definitely plug himself, no doubt. Like he is. I think the project was great. We helped out with some visuals. Hello Doctor can be seen on YouTube. It can be seen on his website. I did cinematography for it, and it was just fun. That was a fun experience.
It was a new thing for like all of us.
Yeah, it was.
'Cause, we don't do like music videos like that. We never like none of us have released like a full album before. Right. This was his first full album, so it's like for this year it was a lot of for us at least it was a lot of first for us.
And I think he killed it too.
Yeah, he did.
He definitely killed it. People should listen to it. Like that's not even a question. Yeah, it's done really well. The lyrics are really well written. Kusha's always been a great writer. Not even gonna lie. Yeah. But the ones we both helped on, Basement was like all him. Like the project itself, his brainchild, his whole creation. We helped out on Hello Doctor and helped out on Dirty Socks, and those are fun shoots. I think. Yeah, but like he killed it, and we'll have him on the podcast just to talk about it, just to plug it, because like it's good. It's like it's quality.
Yeah, it's quality music.
Yeah, especially for his first EP. Like
definitely.
It's on Spotify. You can check it out. It's called Basement Kush D.
Yeah, and I even think a couple like underground like forums and like publications like were noticing the film, and they gave their own critique. You can look on his Twitter; he has a bunch of the retweets. Yeah. So the people that have have listened to the music actually really like it. I like not even if I was his friend, like it's actually like made really well.
I've shown other people as well. They're like, this is like really great.
Yeah, people really like it. So you guys should listen.
Yeah, totally check it out. All right, let's talk about the films we released. I made this film called Life Away, which was I made it actually last December 2017. Yeah, I made it for a class project, and then in 2018 January, I put it on YouTube. Yeah, and I tried to put it in some festivals, no luck, but I mean that's fine. I'm not too upset about it, but I think it was pretty decent. I think in terms of. I don't want to sound like a jerk. Just like praising myself.
Let me say it. I think we both agree that I think Life Away. I think Kush agrees as well. Life Away is probably your best directed film, and I think it's pretty cool how some of the scenes in the film are like it was a first in many ways in terms of how long some of these dialogue sequences are, and how you even had Brandon, who's like obviously you guys know Brandon, but he's the shorter kid in the movie, and Dane is like more the experienced actor, and they both do really well.
It was crazy.
And
I was so surprised.
And they did really well, and I think it had a really cool story to it. It's really like heartbreaking what happens in the film. I think that's your best directed film so far.
Thank you.
So yeah, what other film?
Another film that I made was Funk Trip.
Oh, yeah. Funk Trip was cool.
It was cool. It's my favorite one just because I think it's cool.
It's a cool film.
Let's get into Inspiration. It was a final film that I made for film school. Yeah. I think it's all right. I don't even think it's worth talking about. I don't even know why I put it on the list.
It's one of your coolest
edited
films.
It's cool.
It's edited really, really cool.
Thank you.
I admit that. What other film we have?
All right, we'll go with... Should we do...
Deadlines.
Deadlines? Okay. Deadlines is cool because I actually got some awards for it, which was pretty awesome. That was for the high school. The 10-day film challenge, where they give you 10 days to shoot, write, edit a film, 4 minutes, and they give you a line of dialogue that you have to use. They assign you a genre, and they assign you a character and like a character trait they have, a backstory, I believe they call it. So the line of dialogue was, "I have to get out of here." The character was a guy named Nicholas Perone, and the prop, they gave us a prop as well, was a set of headphones. And our genre was like thriller or something.
It was like mystery.
It was horror or something.
Thriller or horror.
Yeah. And it was pretty cool. Like we shot it. Yeah. We shot it in 5 days actually, and took the rest of the time to edit, which was quick. I didn't expect it to be that quick. And it turned out we go down to South Jersey to watch all of the films that made it. There were top 30 go to see it in a theater. So we watched all 30 films, Deadlines being one of the 30. And out of the 30, we got first place, which was insane. And we also got best acting, which was also insane. I felt good about that.
Shout out to Dane.
Shout out to Dane for doing that. He's the boy.
Yeah.
We'll have him on this podcast as well. He'll definitely have some stories to tell.
Yeah.
And so once you get in the top 10 there, you go to a national level, a national competition, where they screen films from other states. And this year they did it in other countries, so it was international. So but it wasn't like a tons of countries. It was like Japan. Yeah. I think that was it. Which was
Canada,
weird.
Right? Was it in Canada?
I don't think Canada.
Oh, I thought it was.
I could be wrong though. I don't remember. But yeah, Japan, which was weird because it was in English. And it was a bunch of white kids, so I was like, "What?" That was really weird. But yeah, it was really cool. And so we were there in Philadelphia, and we won first place there, which was awesome. Like to this day, it's a surreal feeling. That's like a national thing. That's cool. It's cool. Like it's good to know that I have that, and it's good. To this day, it's very surreal that happened. And I don't even. It's not even my favorite film, which is also like a good thing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, word. So yeah, that's the awards winner, which I thought I was, and we also won best performances there as well, which was awesome at the national level. So that's.
And didn't Dane? He won like a.
He won a scholarship.
He won a scholarship,
which was great.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was very happy for him. Very deserving. All right. So yeah, that's Deadlines. That was fun. Good film. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm glad it got the success that I wanted it to have. Hey, I got more than I wanted actually. Like, not even gonna lie, that was awesome. But yeah, so that's Deadlines. Let's talk about your film. Probably the biggest project we had this year in terms of the collaborative effort.
So yeah, KOS Live. It's this film about like these group of kids who are interested in becoming very interested in becoming internet famous. One of them being the most passionate about it, and he's really passionate. And he comes up with this idea that is really deadly and is really insane, and he kind of tries to convince his friends to do it, and it ends up being this sort of dispute between these three friends in a basement, where they edit videos and they do everything, and it's basically a film about trying to achieve your dreams and how insane artists can be about getting to where they want to be and everything. And it was obvious, I think, for all of us in a way. It was kind of like the first time we really did this much on a film, because it wasn't, because usually in the films we find someone we know, or we collaborate with each other usually, but this time we actually I actually for the first, and I'm actually surprised I even did this, because it's not really me to do. It's not like me to find, I was actually I went through a 3-4 month really annoying process of trying to contact people and people not contacting me back, and I ended up finding three actors. One of the actors I knew personally, his name is Joseph. He's an actor that from my school. He plays the second lead character of the film, and I found a guy named Dylan who's his name is Matthew in the film, and he's a cool character, and he was actually the first person I found that didn't give me any trouble at all over the internet. He kind of was like, oh yeah, sure, I live down South Jersey, I'll do the film with you, and I was like, okay. The last person I found was actually the main character, Billy. He's from New York, and I thought he did a pretty good job in the film. And the film is about 14 minutes long, and we worked about I think a total of maybe 3 full days of filming this, and we had an actor too, John. Remember Sicilis? I think his name is. He was really cool. He actually I think he was in a documentary. He's actually playing a small role in the Joaquin Phoenix movie, the Joker. like the
next DC film, which is awesome. Good for him.
He's in that film. He's gonna be in that film. He also played Jones. What's the guy? Jim Jones, I think, the guy who poisoned everybody.
I don't know.
He's like a cult. He plays like a cult leader, and I think it's on the History Channel. So he's a pretty good actor, but we found all this, and we basically filmed this whole thing. Most like I think the hardest day we had was when we were in the basement, and we went through all the scenes and all the pieces of dialogue. It was the first scene. I mean, it was the first movie I had with dialogue in it, and obviously Tom was the director of photography. He did a really good job. Thank you to Kush.
That was a fun.
That was so fun.
That was fun. Like
behind the scenes is coming out pretty soon too, so you'll get to see like some of like the things that kind of happened by accident that ended up being pretty cool. And I think that overall it was a good experience. Even if like it ended up being bad, which I didn't think it ended up being bad. I thought it was really cool, but it was a good like learning experience because now I understand things more. I can understand like how to talk to people, how to talk to the actors more. I understand like how to talk to human beings. I never talked to people outside this group, so I get to talk to other people for a little bit. But like I get to now understand like emailing is really simple, right? But it's like it's so not simple, like, especially when
you have to select like every word. Like you have to.
And you can't sound rude. I try my best not to sound like rude, but you can't be like too solid. There's like so many weird things that I ended up learning that I'm definitely gonna use now in the future and everything. So that was my film, the biggest film that I did in my life so far, in terms of like collaborating and everything. So by the way, thank you to everybody that did that film with me. So,
for sure.
So, yeah.
Same for everything I made too.
Yeah, definitely.
My take on KYS Live is. It was just like one of the best shoots. Stressful because like I'm sure for you especially, but like it was just fun. Like honestly, I had a great time shooting it, and it helped me spread my wings in terms of being a camera person. I think, because like it was just like fun shots. Like Pharaoh did a great job of directing me and directing the actors, and he also let me do what I wanted to do with the camera, which is cool. Like not a lot of directors do that. Not a lot of directors do that. But like it was cool that getting that creative freedom is awesome in any space at all. And it also taught me how to work with people I didn't know, and the people that we met are like super cool. Like I would like to work with them again. I think they're awesome. Super talented. And I hope they liked us too. I'm sure they did. I don't see why they wouldn't. But I mean, like, it was a great time. Great time.
Who do you think? You don't have to answer this. We don't want to. Who do you think had the best performance? And that's not saying the other performances weren't good.
I don't know.
I was leaning towards Joseph.
Joe had a really good performance. Considering he's the youngest kid there, he was a sophomore at the time.
He was a sophomore at the time. Yeah. Technically a sophomore at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning towards Joseph, but that's not me saying that. Like I think everybody did a pretty good job.
Everybody did a great job.
Who do you think had the best performance in Life Boy? No, don't answer that.
It's like two people. It's like a 50-50 shot. I don't know. They're both good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was fun. Good times in Eventus Films. Yeah. And now we have a podcast. We're going to be doing this every now and again. It's going to be a little inconsistent currently, just because with school and all that, we go to different schools, and we'll get together when we can. But as of now, I think we're going to do it like as much as we can during this Christmas break. And we're just here to have a good time. We're just here to talk about the stuff we love, talk about the stuff we're making, talk about the stuff we made. Hopefully we'll get Kush on here. We'll get Dane on here. We'll get a couple of people on here, and we'll just talk about whatever comes to mind, really, in the world of entertainment and our world. So yeah.
And it's not gonna always be like this format. It's,
we're not gonna have lists every single week. Yeah. This is just very special because of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, any final thoughts? What do you think?
I just think it was a pretty good year for like not just us. Like in terms of Eventus and everything, but I think it was genuinely a really good year for like just art in general. I think people just did whatever they wanted, and it ended up being pretty cool. Like even in terms of like like as we mentioned, like Kanye and Kid Cudi, they that was their album. You know what I mean? Like they put that was like their thing, and I think that was really cool. How Kanye, obviously he has some disagreeable things that he said.
Questionable things said.
But like I think just in terms of not just him, but in even X, like before he died, he was doing so many things that like were just his own sound, his own like overall like concepts, and I think overall in terms of music film, it was just a really good year. So
For sure, I agree. I think this year was very much a year of the artist. It was a lot of creative control I've seen, whether it be Kanye West, whether it be Alfonso Cuarón or Paul Schrader. It was definitely an artist year, and Donald Glover had a good year for like between Atlanta with Teddy Perkins and This Is America, like two like excellent pieces of art that he put out. Yeah, it was just artists were doing their thing this year.
Yeah, I agree.
From any level, and I think that's great. I think we need more of that, and we'll talk about that more and more in coming episodes. So I think that'll cap it off for the Eventus podcast. I'm Tom Hughes.
Pharaoh.
Keep creating, and Happy New Year.